And welcome to the backstage pass of successful early childhood leaders, where we are pulling back the curtain of the what, the how, and the why they do what they do to get these transformative results. I'm your host, Chani Wolshansky, and today we have with us Lisa Manges, who is the director at the Faith Lutheran Preschool in Fair Oaks, California. And tonight we're going to be talking about why consistency in staff meaning structure has paid off with collaboration and connection with her staff. Lisa, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to connect with you.
Yeah, so am I. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's go all the way back to our very first conversation that we had with each other, which is, I think, exactly 12 months ago in March of last year, when we got on the phone after you filled out an application to join us at the live event. And this was your very first interaction with our schools of excellence, with any part of our company. And so tell us what that first experience was like at the live event.
Well, honestly, when I walked into the space that you used, I was like, wow, it was really fancy and it was beautiful and it was welcoming. And there was this incredible spread of food. And it was very calm and peaceful. It didn't feel anything like a preschool experience whatsoever. Yeah. And then I was just amazed by just the wealth of knowledge and experience and diversity that was in the room.
Yeah.
And so I was just really trying to soak it all in. So
yeah,
it was exciting to be all the way on the other side of the United States and be in New York too.
Yeah, well, New York's awesome. So that should be like the number one reason everyone comes in for. But yeah, definitely the experience and the way that we set up the event, like you were saying, is a wow factor. We want to pamper you. We want to take care of you because you take care of teachers and parents and kids all year. So this is your time for me and my team to be able to pamper you guys. So when you left the event last year in late June, and then you joined our director's inner circle, for you, and I know you've experienced a lot of different transformations over the, several months that we've known each other, what were some of those big ahas and takeaways that you've taken from the event and plugged into your school since joining us last year?
Well, I know for sure it's just been a transformation within myself and to better define my role as director. And
tell us more.
And what that means in terms of my leadership skills.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time on the airplane reading The Leadership Gap, and that really helped me focus better on where some of my gaps are, and to be able to just build confidence in myself, to not second guess decisions, to better be able to, that some of the things that needed to be said to staff were just said, and then that was it. It was done and over with. I didn't need to go home and dwell on it and be concerned about whether I hurt anybody's feelings. It was for the betterment of the school and for the children. So I think that those are some big takeaways. And then I had a lot of work to do to get organized, and that my job was really to be there for my staff.
Yeah.
And that I for them. And so this year I've put in all of my energy into that.
I love that. I love that, because the more, again, the director's at the epicenter of the ripple effect, and the more that we pour into ourselves, the more we have to give all of the other people that are dependent on us. So let's dive into specifically your meeting structures, because I know that you used to meet with staff during nap time and you didn't have a real system for the way that you met with staff consistently. So tell us a little bit about how you've changed that and what has been the result of changing your meeting structure and your rituals.
Right. So what I did is I actually went to my team and I said, it's going to be really important for us to be able to meet at least once a month. So we're on the same page, so we have time to develop strategies within our school and we get to know one another. And so I had everybody look at their schedules and we picked a time and said, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be this same day every single month. So put it on your calendar now. And then I worked really hard to use the agenda tool that you had in the vault and the Directors Inner Circle Facebook page to come at least an agenda a week in advance. And I've tried little by little to incorporate staff into actually doing some of the leading of it.
Fantastic.
But we're working on that. And then to come up with some sort of icebreaker, something fun that we would do together, just to play, just like we do with children every day. And then even use some of the strategies to use PowerPoint to show the staff in action with the children. What that's meant as we developed our center-wide expectations and things like that. And then we did a book study together on personalities to get to know one another. And then really seeing our time together as not necessarily planning, but actually being involved in our theme for the year and what that meant for everybody, and then sharing that. And then spending time just talking about, why do you teach here?
Yeah.
Those types of things, so that we all heard each other's perspectives and then could feed from there. Many times I fed everybody, and they really, really appreciated that. We had 1 month that was exceptionally hard with a family. And I just felt that everybody worked so hard in trying to please this parent, and we never could. So they eventually left, and that was okay.
Exactly.
A year ago, I wouldn't have felt that way. I would have felt really awful about that.
Wow.
And I wanted to thank my staff for that. So I bought them a really, really nice dinner.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yeah, that one of the staff actually volunteered to go and pick up on their way back into the school. And we kind of, as we ate dinner together that night at our staff meeting, we talked through what we could have done differently, what didn't work well. With the next family that came in, how can we be more open to getting to know them better? So
I want to unpack a whole bunch of stuff that you said here, because there's a lot of golden nuggets in this. So the first thing is that when a family leaves, it's hard, it's enrollment, it's money, it's this, it's they can talk about us, and there's gossip, there's so many different things. But what's interesting is that your mindset shift has been around, it's okay because not everyone is going to like me, and it's okay because not everyone is a fit for our school. And that, owning that, helped your staff be more comfortable with that as well. And then your mindset shift around expressing gratitude to your staff for putting up with all of that over the last month. Just shows your staff, again, I'm here for you guys. We're all in the trenches together. It's been a hard month for all of us, and let's celebrate together. So that's just that one piece. And then going back even further to what you were saying was, a lot of teachers will meet together during nap time, and that's great to kind of hash out certain stuff or whatever it is. But what you had really changed your meeting structure is that you no longer did housekeeping stuff at a staff meeting. And so I want you to talk about that for just a minute here, about why you've stripped that out of your staff meetings, and why your staff meetings are just about strategy, getting to know each other, and just being more comfortable amongst the other human being that's working next to us or in the classroom next door to us.
Exactly. So I really think one of the key things that I even took away from the live event is that we're all professional educators, and the out in the world, there's this different thought process about preschool and daycare. And we're really trying to work really hard to get away from that we're babysitters. And I changed things in our parent handbook, and I stress that to families when I sit down with them to do their enrollment appointment, and that the staff at this school, we're trained, we continually train. I still have staff that are going to school to continue on with their education. And so we want to partner with you. That's kind of the message. We work really hard with parents to be on this journey with your child together. And that we do a whole lot more than babysit your children. And I think that's really been the key thing in terms of our meetings. And staff feel like professionals, and that their thoughts and what they observe and what they've learned from our different trainings that we have opportunities to go to here in Sacramento are of value, and that value is then carried over into what we do every day with children.
Yeah. And again, just like your mindset was shifted as a leader, and you look at yourself differently and you show up differently, and the conversations that you have are different, that has rippled effect. I don't know if that's a word, but rippled effect to your teachers, in that they look at themselves as professionals, and this is a career. And what's so beautiful is I had a conversation with Missy also, who's joining us again at the live event, and she said she experienced something very similar in her school, where her staff look at themselves as professionals. And there's nothing more amazing as a director than having all your staff truly view themselves as that way. Because here's the thing. When we're professionals, we show up like professionals. When we look at this as a career, we show up like we are in a career. When we feel like we're babysitters, we dress like babysitters, we talk like babysitters, we call out like babysitters, we come like we do everything like a babysitter would do. Not reliable, lots of things, right? But when you're a professional, you're a professional. This is a real career. So I love that you've been able to experience that, Lisa. I think that's amazing. And so tell us a little bit about, when parents come on tours right now, because of the shift in your culture and how your teachers it's not just about, loving on each other, whatever it is. Like, your staff really know each other, their husbands, their spouses, their families. What kind of vibe and feeling do people get when they enter your school now?
I mean, I think when they come, they feel really relaxed. Wow. I don't think that they feel a whole lot of stress. I prepare the staff so they know when someone's going to come and visit.
Yeah.
So that up front, they know the children's names, they know the ages, they know the family if both parents are coming or if it's grandparents coming. And I try to share a little bit about the conversation I've had with that family before I book the tour with them.
Yeah.
So some idea of what to expect. And I know that they appreciate that. I have one teacher, one time I did not let her know, and she was like, my room wasn't ready for them to come in. So I make sure that everybody knows. So they're anticipating their arrival, and they've got things set up on the playground.
I love that.
And then I can let the family, I don't have to be with the family the whole time.
Yes.
Teachers to talk to the family.
There you go. Teachers are ambassadors now for you, for the school, because they're professionals. Professionals step in. Because they have ownership now. It's part of their career. So another thing I want to unpack here, because we've chatted about this before, is, most teachers really dread meetings. How have you shifted that, where your staff look forward to the meeting and connecting with each other?
I think because it's really an opportunity for us to be together without any children around at all. Some of my staff they work a 9-hour day, and they're with kids from the time they arrive to the time they leave, except for their break or their lunch.
Yeah.
And I also, I really think they like working here. I really think that they appreciate the learning, that they take something from it, and we use it, we put it into action. And I think they enjoy that time together. Other than if someone's been sick or they've had a family emergency, pretty much everybody's been at the staff meeting every single month.
I love that. Oh, so good. I love that win. I think that's amazing. So Lisa, kind of bringing everything here full circle, what has really contributed to, because sometimes it's hard to quantify really what has contributed to our confidence as a leader, because you are just 10x more confident as a human being, as a leader. I see it just because I've seen you in the summer. I see you now. We work together over the course of the year in the inner circle. What do you think has really been the catalyst for that?
I really think being a part of the director's inner circle has helped me tons, even though I might not fully participate in all different challenges we have going on because of time conflicts.
Yeah.
And that sometimes I just want to go home and go to sleep. I really think that hearing from other leaders who are directors of much larger schools than I am and have admin boards that they work with,
Yeah.
and hearing that they have a lot of similar issues.
Yes.
And that there's not a whole lot of difference, and they have doubts, and they have times when they've questioned their decisions, or they have a parent who's being difficult, or they can't get families to pay their tuition. All of those similar kinds of things, or they have teachers that they call in sick,
Yeah.
or don't trust who else they're working with, who have their own, personal things going on in their life. So I think that that's helped me a lot.
Wow.
The resources that you have offered us through your connections of other professionals, and maybe not necessarily in the ECE world, but just—
No, most of my connections are not from the early childhood world. Yeah.
Yeah, from, developing habits to, to just talking about enrollment and the things we need to do to build trust with people who we talk with on the phone.
Yeah.
I think that overall has helped me just like 100%.
It's amazing.
Having that access to those highly professional, people who own Fortune 500 companies.
Exactly.
That has been huge for me.
Yeah, and Lisa, this I'm so glad you brought this up, because I want to unpack this for a minute, and then we'll go into the tool and strategy that you'll leave our listeners with. Is, as early childhood leaders, we sometimes end up like swimming in the same regurgitation of knowledge that goes around and around and just repurposed in different channels. And what my mission with the Summit of Excellence and with our Schools of Excellence is to bring you professionals of experts in different fields, not from education, and show you how when you apply these skills and these concepts into your classrooms and into your schools, how you can become a leader in your own industry. And, that's why we're bringing Todd Herman this year, who works with pro and Olympic athletes, and, Linda Fogg, who's going to be talking about habits, and Dr. Diaz, who's an NYU child psychologist, like professionals in their own field who are leading empires. Learn from them how to apply that into your school. So I'm so glad you brought that up here. So wrapping up here, Lisa, what strategy, I know we spoke about perhaps sharing like your meeting agenda that you use, because I know a lot of times directors are like, well, what should I talk about at the meeting? So maybe you can share with us your meeting agenda in the show notes here. Can ask you to, and we'll put it together for the directors on what you actually talk about, what your meeting ritual is, what your framework, what you do first, second, third, how you kind of break that down to get those results that you're enjoying right now.
I mean, I think that our overall ritual is, I really like to start with something fun.
Yes.
It might be a silly game. It might be, generally it's a silly game.
Yeah.
We just have to get out of our comfort zone and just play together. And not all the staff like to do that. But they've grown a lot from that to just something fun and silly. And then generally every other month, I've been trying to do some sort of real simple PowerPoint.
Yeah.
So that the staff can see themselves in action, and play some music that maybe we've been listening to or using throughout that particular month. Lots of times they don't see themselves, when they're with children. And so 2 months ago, I took the theme of nurturing relationships, and I just took a ton of pictures of all of that going on with teachers on the playground with kids, or doing a circle game, or in the sandbox with them, or just talking with them at the table, or eating lunch with them. And they were just like, oh, wow, look at all these pictures for us. So they appreciate that. And then we do whatever kind of our nuts and bolts thing is. Yep. Last month, we did our communication reflection.
Yep.
And then we did our positive energy wheel to kind of tie that all together. And then many times we'll take the last half an hour of our time together if we haven't run out of time. And we get out the list of children that we work with. and we talk about what's been working for us and what hasn't been working and what can we do differently. Because we're a small school, we tend to nurture relationships of all the different ages. And so some are on the playground and some aren't. And we spend some time sharing about that.
I love that.
And then we say, it's time to go home and go to bed because we got to be back at school in about 10 hours. So that's kind of been our overall ritual.
Yeah.
It's worked, and we do it around, we're a small enough group that we do it around a circular table.
Yep.
And I usually have things set up, and I try to have something for my staff, whether it be good
food, yeah,
or a candy bar.
Yeah. I want to unpack for 1 second here before we close what Lisa said. This is something that we taught at the live event last year and something that we'll be continuing to talk about this year, is choosing a school theme that anchors feedback and gratitude throughout the year. And so Lisa's theme was nurturing relationships. But the other thing, and I'm actually so impressed that you took this idea from the event, which is to take pictures of the teachers in action and show that to them. So there's a number of ways that you could do this. So Lisa, with nurturing relationships, she took pictures of the teachers on the playground, nurturing relationships, and just all around the place. But if you have a different focus, let's say you really want your teachers to start using more natural materials or loose parts, or you want them to document better, or you want them to put out different materials on the table, or set up the block center more engaging, whatever it is, go around and take pictures of the teachers who are doing it already and highlight and showcase them at staff meetings. Don't use a staff meeting to tell them that music is canceled and you're doing it next week. That is a waste of 30 seconds in your breath and disrespectful to the teacher's time. There's emails. We are 2019. Figure out how to tell them updates in another platform. Your meeting is about connection. It's about eye contact. It's about heart to heart, soul to soul, nose to nose, toe to toe. Here we are connecting with each other. So I love that you've embraced that and you see the results in your school because you've adopted that. So Lisa, thank you so much for being here. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of our inner circle. It's so grateful to have you be part of our community.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, we just clicked stop record.